Hey, it's been a while since we've videoed. We had a lot of baseball to play the last 5 months. Went on one state championship. I had knee replacement in January, so I was sidelined for about 10 weeks. But we're back up and running and riding. And today we're going to head out to Mt Cheaha. We've never been over there. We're going to go over to Hooligan Harley-Davidson, pick it up over in the Oxford area, and run Mt Cheaha out that way and check out hopefully some great views from what we've been hearing.
Should be a fun ride.
All right, we're out.
So here we are getting ready to come up on the entrance to Mt Cheaha. I cut out all the useless stuff that you're going to see where we actually got lost because we had tried to beat a storm out of Hooligan Harley-Davidson to get ahead of it because it was heading parallel to where we were, right at us, and we were heading south. Once we got out of there, GPS kind of threw me for a couple different weird turns, and I missed the entrance. But here we are. You'll see me pointed out on the video, of course. Here we are coming up on the overlook here on Mt Cheaha. Of course, I missed the first turn when I come around the corner. And, well, needless to say, had to come in on the other end. This is the Mt Cheaha overlook. We pulled off, took a few pics real quick. Didn't hang out too terribly long. It's pretty nice up here. It's 2,400 feet. It's the highest point in Alabama. We've been a lot higher, but this is definitely pretty neat for this area. car cruising up the road, not a lot of traffic. Did come across an RV. You'll see later where he's heading, up to the Mt Cheaha State Park. So when it was safe to do so, we went ahead and passed. I know it makes Tina pretty nervous when I do that. But, you know, sometimes you just have to do it in order to keep moving. What we were talking about a little bit ago. This is where the RV was heading to. We did end up seeing them again as we were leaving. But this is the Mt Cheaha State Park up here. I guess technically the top. We couldn't really go very far without paying to go through the gates. They have cabins and things like that, I think, that you can rent up there. We just made a quick stop and headed back on the road. to see the end of the Mt Cheaha Road, Route 281. You'll see some hikers here on the right. It's a nice little pull-off. I guess they go out there and hike. We'll take a left here and start making our way back. Okay, overall we had a pretty good ride, good day. We stayed dry, even though there were some quite ominous clouds all around us many times, and it was cloudy quite a bit as we made our ride through Mt Cheaha. What you won't see in the video is on the way back, we actually stayed on the south side of Tuscaloosa and came back home. Just basic 2-lane, straight, typical southern roads, nothing twisty, curvy, or fun to really video. As we came down through Montevallo up into Centerville, and then come back in the 4-lane on our way back into the southern side of Tuscaloosa. Good day. Looking forward to the next one. See you guys later. Make sure you subscribe.